All right, in this video, we'll be looking at the different flatworm classes. We'll be looking at 4 classes in this class. First class is the flatworm Turbellaria. Turbellarians are free-living flatworms. They're typically found in marine or freshwater environments, and they are found under objects because they like to hide, stay out of the light. Um, they're often distinguished on the basis of their gut, like the presence of it, the shape of it, their external pharnyx. Some of these don't even have a gut; they just kind of eat through diffusion or whatever. They have muscular movement, so this allows them to achieve locomotion, typically through an undulatory action, which is kind of think about it as like squinching up their body and then flattening out their body, kind of like a worm. You'd expect a worm to move. This is seen in other animals as well, this undulatory sort of movement. Mostly monoecious, but they are not able to self-fertilize, so they will need to find a mate. And they have these specialized cells called flame cells, which are essentially a really early kidney, which is used for osmoregulation. It doesn't have a lot of the filtering properties and things like a more advanced kidney, but is kind of the beginning of that idea. So the next class is called Trematoda. These are parasitic flukes. They are endoparasites, which means they live inside their host, and they're typically host to vertebrates. They have this leaf-like shape with a sucker on one end, so that's kind of the mouth part. Other organs, they have like hooks that they can attach to their host with. They have cyst-forming glands, which are very important for their way that they function, protects them inside their host and allows them to reproduce. A subclass that we're going to talk about is called Digenea, which are organisms that require 2 hosts in order to complete their life cycle. And one of those hosts is always a mollusc, like a snail, and the other host is typically some large vertebrate. And so here's a picture of that life cycle. The embryos are basically um, pooped out by the large vertebrate, as this picture shows us so efficiently. And then those eggs will hatch and form into free swimming larvae in water. And those larvae then will get into snail tissue and form a cyst. And that cyst allows them to reproduce asexually inside the snail for a time. Then they will emerge from the snail and climb onto these plants where they'll form cysts again, and then they're eaten by vertebrates and get back into the vertebrate digestive system and complete that life cycle. This is not healthy for the snail or for the vertebrate. Like there's one called a liver fluke. It's dangerous to sheep liver. So that's just one example. Yeah, these are bad, guys. There's some pictures of cysts on plant leaves. I don't know why sheep would eat that on purpose, but there's that. All right, next class is Monogenea. These are single host parasites, and a couple things about them. Typically, are parasitic toward fish. Some of them are oviparous, but some of them are viviparous, which is kind of a new thing, which is live birth. They release the larva from their bodies, and those larvae then will in turn attach immediately to the host. They're typically found on like fish gills or on the skin of fish. You can kind of see some there. They're really small, not really good pictures. But you see they have structures that are very well suited to attach to the host. The next group are called Cestoda, or these are tapeworms. These are, this is kind of when people think of worm parasites, they'll probably go to the tapeworm. These worms attached to the digestive tract of their host. They have this head that's called a scolex, and it kind of holds the worm to the host. And the rest of its body are these little segments called proglottids, which are basically like little reproductive packs. They have everything they need to reproduce. They have the sperm, the eggs, the testes, the uterus, all the little things. And these little proglottids will break off in the digestive tract, and then the animal will basically poop them out, and they'll form little worm packs all over the ground. And then the next organism will step on them or eat them and get them into their own digestive tract. And so this can be pretty dangerous. These can also hatch inside the organism, and so you can have multiple tapeworms attached to the small intestine of the host. These can grow up to 30 feet long. They basically will just inhabit the entire digestive tract of their host and just feed off the food that they're eating.